As we look back to Sunday, it was another defeat for the team, but in your post-match interview you came over positive, upbeat and confident regarding the future.
4 defeats on the run, isn't it? I think the only way that you can look at that really is that we are another week closer to getting a win. Is the best way that I can look at it at the moment. There was progress again this week, which we were pleased about. Obviously, Cardiff met historically a Champions League side. They've got that quality, they've got that pedigree. And I think, again, those people that were there watching could see that from them and their performance at the weekend. But I thought we contained them really, really well and limited the number of opportunities. And, in fact, created opportunities of our own. So, again, we talk about baby steps, we talk about progress. Either result or performance. We got the performance, we didn't get the result. But, as I say, you know, thankfully, we're another week closer to getting that win that we all aspire for.
We have discussed it in recent press conferences, the new signings. How have they fitted into the side so far?
They've come in, they've done really well. I think I said a couple of weeks ago, they know us from the past and we know them. They don't know the girls and the girls don't know them. That's the big difference. I think if we look at the squad as a whole, first of all, individually and collectively, the players are accepting responsibility and taking accountability for their own performances and their own progress. So as a group, we're moulding a side and we're moving forward. Obviously, we've spoken about the need for experience, we've spoken about the need for more quality within the side, and the new signings have brought that. They've brought a strength to the spine of the team, and I think that in itself has given everybody a lift because they bring proven quality and they bring proven experience. So they've slotted in well. The other girls have accepted them really quickly and they've all fitted together quite nicely. It's about bedding everybody together now, isn't it, as a team? And, you know, again, moving forward as best as we can as a group.
It's a departure from the league this Sunday. It's the FAW Welsh Women's Cup. Is that a distraction perhaps to the focus of the league and the need to get some points on the table? Or is it a chance to kickstart the season?
Well, I think if we sort of get under the skin of it all, you know, it's a game of football at the end of the day, regardless of the competition. So we've got our game model, we've got our principles of play, we've got a style that we're trying to embed. So whether it's a friendly, whether it's a league game, whether it's a cup competition, this cup or that cup, it doesn't really matter. It's another game of football, it's another week further on our journey of bringing the whole group together. So in terms of a distraction away from the league, we're not really. You know, we're just focusing on the game as a game of football and how do we improve from last week and take steps forward.
And the opponent on Sunday is Wrexham AFC Women. They're in the Adran North, so the second tier of women's football. They won their first game 6-0, but then a week later they lost 8-3. That suggests that they score freely, but also concede likewise as well. Big strengths, big weaknesses. Will you be looking to contain the former and perhaps exploit the latter?
I think the facts for them are very similar to us in the terms of where they are on their journey as a side and coming together and trying to sort of raise the bar and raise the quality of their group of players and them as a football team and a football club as well. So I don't see too many differences between them and us in that sense. I think in terms of where we're going with this game, I'm not too concerned about, you know, whether they concede or whether they score goals. I'm more concerned about what it is that we do. But I think, you know, the way that you've just described it proves one thing, and that is consistency. How do you, at this level with your group of players, develop a level of consistency? And, you know, we can't determine anybody else's level of consistency. We can only ever look after ourselves, and that's what we're trying to do. So, you know, I'm looking more at us and our games. And if I look at the 4 games that we've played so far, if I take them game by game, the first game we lost 2-1, so we've lost by a single goal. Second half was 0-0. The second game we played, the first half was 2-1, the second half wasn't. We conceded 3 late goals, which distorted the scoreline. The third game we've played here against the league leaders, we've lost the first half 2-0 and the second half 1-0. And then again at the weekend, we've played, you know, a top Champions League side. we've lost the first half 2-0 and we've drawn the second half 0-0. So if we start to break down our own performances and look at our own level of consistency, we're almost there, we're getting there. But out of those 8 halves of football that I've just mentioned to you, we're still yet to win a half of football, never mind 90 minutes of football. So that's what we'll be focusing on. We'll be focusing on our level of consistency and taking care of what we can take care of.
And based on the desire that you do want to win the game, are we likely to see many changes on Sunday?
Well, normally there's 1 or 2 forced changes on you, whether that's through injury or availability, and the likelihood is that that'll happen again. You know, we do have 1 player coming back this week for definite. Hopefully we'll have 2. So we're at the moment still trying to find our strongest starting 11. This is an opportunity to, you know, toy with that and try and find out what our starting 11 is. The fact of the matter is, in the opening 4 games, we've had 2 different goalkeepers and we've had 4 different centre-back pairings. So we've got to, at some stage, start to bed down what we think is our strongest lineup moving forward to get back to what you said a couple of minutes ago, which is about where do we accumulate 3 points within the league.
And there are a couple of training sessions to go. Will they determine your lineup, your approach, your tactics, or have you pretty much sorted that in your mind already?
Well, naturally you work to that, don't you? So whatever your game plan is this week, that's how your training's set up. So that is obviously the key messages that we'll be getting across to the players this week. You know, this is how we expect to play, this is how we'd like to play, this is what the formation may look like, even if we don't, you know, tell them the starting lineup on a Wednesday, because things change from a Wednesday to a Sunday. So we've got some plans we'll be working on over the next couple of days and trying to bed those down. And again, as I say, you know, just take it day by day and step by step and just move into the game, not sort of like create too high an expectation of we must be doing this, or if we don't do that it'll be a disaster, because that certainly isn't the case. You know, we're 1 month into this programme. You know, come back to me in 1 year or you know, after, I don't know, 100 games, and the conversation will obviously be very different than it is today.
And finally, looking ahead to the game this weekend, based on training, based on players coming back, general availability, what's likely to be the squad that you have to choose from?
We're not quite back at full strength. We're still carrying 2 injuries, but obviously the squad has got depth to it now, which it didn't have sort of in the first week or 2 weeks, as player registrations were held up and 1 or 2 players we hadn't quite signed yet. So we're almost there now. So yeah, we're looking forward to the weekend. Obviously the FA Cup it is, you know, certainly on the men's side, it's I think it's the longest competition in football across the world. So, you know, the FA Cup in Wales has got a big history, and we hope to add to that this weekend.